Get it all out of your system.
I got nothing in my system.
I think the YouTube rules are like the first minute you gotta be PG, and then you or PG-13.
At a minute 01.
No.
I am
No.
gonna say
No.
terrible things.
No. 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 There is no intro. This is a new thing that we're trying.
Hi.
You don't need
Welcome back.
You don't need to introduce yourself. My audience, my 5 viewers know who you are.
It's been a little bit.
It has been a little bit. Anyway, I'm Julian. This is Matt.
You just said I don't need to introduce myself, and you introduced me. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Please proceed.
Anyway, So this guy over here was like, "Hey, you want to start a podcast?" And I was like, "Frick yeah, let's do it."
Isn't that your idea?
I don't know. One of us.
I'm pretty sure because I was like, "That's a great idea, Jay."
I would like to start one, and so here we are, attempting to start one.
Tremendous.
Yes.
This feels wrong though because a podcast normally the people face each other and we're sitting next to. No, but for the cameras. Okay. Let's have a conversation.
Let's have a conversation. Here, I'll do one of the little middle thing.
Yeah,
we'll face each other.
Wait.
You can also see us.
So I look like I know things. I'm drinking coffee.
Oh yeah.
It's a deception. There's nothing.
The second you have a coffee mug,
yeah,
a blazer with a vest is optional.
Yes.
And some glasses and like a nerdy haircut.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You know everything about the world.
Correct. All right.
So there is no structure. I have no idea what we're gonna talk about.
I asked him when he told me this idea one night, and I was like, "What do we want to talk about?" And he's like, "We can talk about whatever."
Are we talking to them like we know that the camera's there?
No.
Or are we having a conversation?
We're gonna have a conversation.
Okay.
Because that's normally how podcasts go.
Yes.
You don't see Joe Rogan looking at the camera and go, "Wow, wasn't that crazy?"
Yeah, that's true. Okay. So now that we have made a terrible introduction, which I am including. Thank you. All right. Again, no structure at all.
Might I preface with something else as well? Because we have not told them. We just took pre-workout. All right?
That is important.
So we're going to work out in like 30 minutes. And you're going to see us slowly accumulate to the pre-workout. I'm already feeling it in my eyeballs. And I want to rip my eyes out.
Oh, okay. I'm getting there. I'm feeling a little tingle.
For those of you that haven't taken pre-workout, the feeling of wanting to rip your skin off your face is normal.
It's basically just a bunch of caffeine.
Legalized crack.
It's yeah, that's the best way to put it, is legalized crack.
Did I tell you the first time I ever took pre-workout?
I think so.
Okay.
But please do enlighten me again.
I took it and
I
then...
was a young child.
And my ex wanted to go grocery shopping, so we went to Woodman's. I took it. I didn't know anything about it, and we're at the grocery store, and my skin starts getting real itchy all over, and I'm scratching myself like a crack addict.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is going on? And I thought I was having an allergic reaction. Come to find out, that's normal. That's how you should feel.
That's what's supposed to happen.
So yeah.
So that was your first time.
Yeah.
Do you want?
You never forget your first. Do I want to what?
Do you want to tell me the story that you just told me about your dad 10 minutes
that
ago?
That would be a great story.
It's a great story.
Okay.
So it's you already told me
yeah.
before we recorded.
Do you want me to tell them then, or do you want me to?
No, we're having a conversation.
I'm sorry.
We're having a conversation, but please tell me
the story again.
The story again because it's hilarious.
Okay, so I got a call from my father, and we're just talking. He's like, how are you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. And he goes, so yeah, 2 weeks ago I was in the ER, and I'm like, oh, and he goes, yeah, nearly choked to death. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, Dad, I love you, but why the fuck am I hearing about this 2 weeks later? And he said the most honest, sincere answer when he said, well, it's not an emergency anymore, and I didn't want to bother you.
If that isn't like the peak male psyche right there.
I know.
Like, if it's not an emergency, Why say
Because I
anything?
was like, dude, I was like, I would have said the same thing. I was like, I didn't want to worry you, yeah. So I'm like, okay, what happened? And he goes, you know how I was making brats? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, yeah, it was the brats. He's, he goes, I was eating the brats and it got lodged in my throat. He goes, so I start drinking water to get it down. And he goes, which made it lodge more. And he goes, so I was effectively drowning myself. He said, my wife tried to do the Heimlich and it wasn't working. And he said, I could still barely breathe, but I was choking. I was trying to stay calm. He said, my wife called 911. Ambulance came. And he said he got to the hospital and it took about 40 to 45 minutes before his stomach, as he described it, created this gross slime which allowed him to
To
and he puked it up. And
emesis is the medical term.
emesis?
Emesis is the official term for vomiting. Fun fact. Did you know that?
Did you know you were gonna learn something today?
You learn something new every day.
That's emesis. Okay, interesting.
Anyway,
I'm sorry. That just sounds so much more classy than saying I threw up or I vomited.
right.
I emesis last night.
I experienced an episode of emesis.
That sounds better. And
Yeah.
so anyway, he threw up, and he said his wife was obviously very distraught because he almost died.
He almost died.
Yeah, and so right when he's better, he looks at the doctor and goes, "Guess I'll be driving us home, huh?" And I was like, "Dad, you made jokes?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he said,
That's just like, that's just the male psyche.
he's like, "Oh, whatever." And he goes, my wife was so distraught that she took a week off of work. And he goes, I was back at work the next day. And he tells the story to his boss, and he goes, when did this happen? He goes, last night. Last night. And he's like, why are you here? He's like, where else would I be?
I didn't die.
I didn't die.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, thank God you're okay. And I went, Dad, I have a question for you. And I said, I don't want you to take it as insensitive. What happened to the rest of the brats? And he goes, you're going to love this.
Oh, boy.
And he goes, so after all this, I was obviously very hungry still, right?
Oh, yeah, you just threw up.
And I went, you didn't. He goes, I did. And he goes,
did he not learn his lesson?
He goes, I got home and I had some soup. He goes, I ate it very slowly. And he goes, but soup sucks and it's not filling.
No, soup is great, but it's not filling.
Oh, we can get into this later.
Soup debate!
Soup is just flavored water. I will eat it, but I will not be happy about it.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's fair.
This is a tangent.
I mean, you're not wrong. It is essentially flavored water with some textures. But with the right soup, oh, it's so good.
It's like golf. You either like it or you don't. And the majority of people who like it are old people.
I can't say I disagree with that. But anyway, he's having soup.
Sorry. So yeah, he had soup and he's like, it's not filling. He goes, so I looked at those brats. He goes, and I ate those motherfuckers. And I went, you didn't. He goes, I did. He goes, I ate all of them. And I was laughing so hard, I thought I was gonna throw up. And I said, you're so stupid.
That man.
And you know what's funny too? I've been planning for a while about taking a trip back out to Arkansas to see him because I saw him once 3 years ago.
Yep.
And so I was like, well, with my work schedule and stuff, I could get some time to go out and visit him again. But I didn't tell him because it was going to be a surprise. So when I eventually tell him, I know he's going to be like, it's because I almost died. And I'll be like, no, I was planning this before you told me about the prod incident. But yeah, it might have sped things up a little bit because I'm like, you're a danger to yourself now. Do you want me to tell him the bit about the breadsticks too, or no?
No, let's save that.
Okay.
We've had enough discussion about choking.
Yeah.
That was a great story, though.
Yeah, it was.
Arkansas trips.
Any choking memories, Jay?
No. I have no choking memories. I
want to make some choking memories?
No.
It's been a minute.
Dude, PG-13, bro.
Yeah, this is PG-13. Dirty adult jokes are PG-13.
Okay, fine, whatever.
I haven't. Have I sworn? I might have sworn.
You have sworn.
I do that subconsciously. My bad.
I don't think my grandparents watch my YouTube. My mom might. My brother might.
Okay.
My 8-year-old brother.
So sorry.
might end up watching this.
So sorry.
But I don't think he'll sit through this long of a video.
You could edit this podcast and just bleep everything I say.
I could. I might. No. Father figure is what you're going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Buttons. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay if you do hate me.
Update.
About?
My face. I feel my face.
Yeah?
It's not just my eyes. I want to rip the skin off my face now. But if I do, fun fact, if you feel it and you scratch it, you're going to make it worse. And you're going to want to scratch it more.
Yeah, it's just like if you have like a rash or something and you scratch it, it's just going to make it worse.
Yeah.
Or, multiple other things you can make worse by scratching them or... Yeah. So anyway... I don't know what else to talk about, man.
Let's get into something profound and deep. We have 20 minutes. Let's get into something deep.
How far? I don't know.
Like something philosophical or political or economical or...
We could talk politics, but...
That's a
politics
dangerous road, though.
It is, because it's so polarizing.
Right. So
We can keep it objective. I think
that's difficult for us, though.
I do my best to stay in the middle on most topics. Like I said, I do my best.
That's a joke.
I
don't hunt him down.
I do my best. Okay, alright. I do lean right, but I do.
Shut the fuck up! You're on YouTube.
I am on YouTube.
Okay.
I have like 5 viewers. It's okay. No. No. Yeah, we should probably avoid politics.
Yeah. Let's get into something.
Until I become rich and famous. I won't, but let's avoid that. Yeah, very polarizing topic.
Let's talk about finances and stuff. As you and I are two young adults in their 20s, and obviously, we haven't been adults for a long time, but we've been adults long enough to kind of figure out what we need to financially survive. And you and I know, are both big on financial independence and growing our wealth and stuff, trying to eventually buy a house and stuff like that.
As if I'll ever own a home.
Oh God, none of us are gonna own a home. The boomers have fucked the housing market. Apologies, throw a censor on that, Jay. They've ruined the housing market. Our parents said to us, "Oh, you want to know what hurt feels like?" Or what's the saying? You want to know?
I don't.
You know what I'm saying? Like you want to know hurt, and then they ruined the housing market for us, and they're like,
yeah. There's that. There's also. There's also, thanks to BlackRock Investments, who control, I believe, $10 trillion in assets.
I heard about that. I think I saw a clip from the Joe Rogan podcast about that.
Yeah, they talked about that.
They're saying now they own basically everything.
Yep, and also the World Economic Forum, which is basically just a bunch of globalists that are making decisions that we'll never vote on.
Yeah.
Their slogan, the World Economic Forum slogan, and they've been open about it, is "You will own nothing and be happy." By 2030, we will have nothing.
So I have a comment to say about that, but I will not say it because this is not just you and me. But my mindset is very 1800 France right now.
Fair.
So
that's fair.
Yeah. That could mean anything.
We can talk about term limits. I feel like.
Oh yeah, let's talk about term limits.
So I know
I'm passionate about this.
5 minutes ago, we said we're gonna avoid politics. But
Never mind. This is important.
No, because
call your local legislature, because it's up to the states to do this. By the way.
So, I feel like the majority of people on both sides can agree that we need term limits in Congress, because why do we have a good portion of Congress is 75-plus-year-old people that are making or creating bills for this country.
Yes. I wholeheartedly agree with you.
You get to a certain point in age, especially 65, 70, where your cognitive ability just is not there anymore.
Oh, what do you?
What?
You're saying Dianne Feinstein, who's how old is she? 87.
Oh,
hey Siri, how old is Dianne Feinstein?
Dianne Feinstein is 90 years old.
She's 90!
I thought she was 90.
And that bitch is still in Congress! I won't apologize.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, Dianne Feinstein. She's 90. She's in Congress. They had to wheel her into. It was a couple weeks ago. They wheeled her into the House.
She's in the Senate
Senate
for
to
California.
yeah. Okay, so they wheeled her into the Senate floor to vote on something, and she was just told to vote yay on whatever bill it was in the Senate. She gave up um, her power of attorney is her daughter. Like she released her rights for that stuff. And you're telling me that someone who is 90 years old and is at this point probably barely mentally there should be in our House or Senate?
Precisely.
No, we need term limits.
Yeah.
I think you could also throw in a maximum age for when a candidate can run.
Mm-hmm. I
Like
think so
once
too.
you get to a certain age, you can no longer run.
We'll see.
If we have term limits for president,
Mhm.
why don't we have term limits for representatives and senators?
That's what I'm saying. And see, growing up, my dad used to say this, and I kind of, it went in one ear and out the other, but he was right when he was saying, we were talking politics a little bit, and he would say the president is a figure. He's a figurehead.
Pretty much.
And the president has power, but
Oh, yeah.
but the real power is in
Is
Congress.
those in D.C.
That's why
Well,
when
they're all in D.C., but
Mhm.
those in the House and Senate.
right, that's why when you and I have talked about like the upcoming election or past elections, like I think I've told you where we've been like, yeah, the presidency is important, but if Democrats and Republicans were smart, they focus on
They
this
would-
Senate race, because Senate terms are 6 years.
Yep.
And House is only 2, but still, that's where the power is.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and like Republican presidential nominee Nikki Haley,
Mhm.
she came up with the idea of what was it? Age? No, it was a cognitive mental
Cognitive
test.
65, I think it was.
65 and older to make
Yeah.
sure that they're able
They're
to.
still mentally there.
Yeah, and that sounds
I-
totally reasonable. And Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont, Democrat, was
He's 81, I think.
yes,
He's
something
he's
like
into
that.
his 80s.
Yeah, and I should clarify too. He's an independent who caucuses with the Democrats.
He's a Democrat.
He's a Democrat.
Yeah.
But it's he came out about that and he goes, "That is ageist," and I was like, "Yeah, it is."
It is.
I said, "I wonder why."
Yeah, it is because we want to make sure those that are running our country are
Yeah.
mentally capable of doing so.
I also say that at a certain age limit, you should have to redo your driver's test.
That is also true.
And they're both correct for the same reason.
Yeah,
Because you suck at what you do now.
your mental capability, your
Mhm.
reflexes, your reaction time,
Yeah.
everything.
All this.
Everything.
Yeah.
It slows down.
Yes.
So, yes, the term limit stuff, but especially
I'm rubbing myself because of the pre-workout. I just want to make very clear. Like, it's in my skin.
Is
Right.
it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I feel nothing, and I don't know if that's just because I'm so sleep deprived, where it's like.
I had a cup of coffee before.
Well, there's that too. So you had the coffee plus the pre-workout.
Yeah.
I don't drink coffee personally.
I can make you some.
That's okay.
Okay.
I just never acquire the taste. It's also why I don't drink beer. I just never acquired the taste.
You gotta play around with it. I throw some caramel macchiato in it, creamer, and I make it taste good.
Well, I'm sure if it was
Like
more.
black coffee's shit. My mom drinks
Well,
black coffee, but she smoked
yeah.
cigarettes for 35 years, so I tell her she has no opinion.
Well, she probably fried her taste buds in
that's,
the process.
That's what I kind of.
Yeah.
But
So, yeah, I just never acquired the taste. Sure, if it's creamer with coffee instead of coffee with creamer, you know. Well, you know, like the white girls that go to Starbucks and they get
Oh, yeah.
like this much creamer and then
Yeah.
that much coffee. It's like, oh, I
yeah,
had a coffee today.
shot of espresso.
I had a
yeah.
coffee today. No, you had 100 grams of sugar.
Mm,
Oh,
yeah.
I feel so energized. Yeah. Tell me again in 2 hours when you sugar crash.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, the amount of money that people are willing to spend on going out and getting coffee,
Oh yeah.
especially Starbucks.
And some people do it every day.
Yeah, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
We went to school with some people that would do that. I mean, they could afford to do it.
Yeah.
Their parents had plenty of money,
Yeah.
but still, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I could not imagine spending $7 a day on a cup of coffee.
Right. No, I see. Like I get.
That's $35 a week. That's $140 a month that you're just
most times.
throwing your coffee.
Most of the times I'll get like canned coffee and like chill it and stuff, and I'll drink that at work. So I pretty much have a coffee a day now. But
Yeah,
like one of those
But
is
it's
like
probably like
$2.
$1.50, $2.
It's like $2.19 or something, and
Yeah.
that's not great, but it's not bad.
It's not 7.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy what people will spend their money on. I know the boomers are like, well, stop buying avocado toast and getting your coffee,
Yeah.
which is true,
Yeah.
but also going back to like what you said,
Hmm.
everything is kind of ruined,
It is.
and
Mm.
especially not to jump back into politics, but
No, I'm glad you are because I
inflation.
wasn't done with that.
Yeah, no, we're never done with
No,
politics.
we're never.
We can talk politics forever, and we're probably over 20 minutes, but whatever. I don't care.
Hmm.
It's okay. My whatever.
No, I'm keeping track. We still got time.
Oh yeah, yeah, I got time. Incredibles reference. Great movie, by the way.
He's got an opinion that he wants to
He
share.
sure does. Car honk. But anyway,
He's a libertarian.
the third party. um, but yeah, just like everything is kind of ruined for us.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you
So sorry.
can make it.
That is unprofessional. Yeah.
It's dude,
That's-
you're fine. Dude,
So,
this is not a professional. This is not a professional setting at all.
I cleaned my apartment for you. And
No,
you
you
tell-
didn't.
I did.
Did you?
I spent all day yesterday. I dusted,
you really?
vacuumed, did the dishes. I cleaned my bathroom.
Was that in preparation for me, or was that just because it needed to get done?
Shut up.
You can tell me what you can tell me what you want.
I didn't know you were coming over. I thought you had to work. So
Fair.
So literally, it wasn't until like midnight last night when I read your text saying like I can come in the morning. I'm like, fuck. Okay, come over.
Yeah, I could tell. You were like, "Oh, I'm so tired, but I'll do it for you, buddy."
Well, I was like, well, on one side I was like, yes, you can come over, but I was like, God, I wish his schedule was more consistent.
I wish it was too.
Yeah.
I do. I work for the it's I worked.
Fire.
Your ears are on fire.
Very hot. So whoever's talking about me, can you please shut the fuck up? Thank you.
Yeah, I work two jobs. I work for I help put up tents around the area for different events that go on, and I also work for I'll say it. I work for Quick Trip.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll say it. I'm not ashamed.
well, just I don't know
Yeah.
where my viewers are from
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I don't have a big enough audience
Yeah.
to where it shows that.
Hopefully you're not from Oklahoma City. Proceed.
That is very specific.
Proceed.
Okay.
Keep talking.
Anyway,
I'm gonna bomb it.
if I continue with this YouTube thing and I grow, it'll show like in the app YouTube Studio, it'll show like your audience and I don't know if it'll show what country they're from.
Mm-hmm.
It won't show what states because that would be a little too far.
Yeah.
But it'll show like what country. I think it'll show age as well
Okay.
because it's all connected to their YouTube account.
Yeah.
So there's I don't know. Long story short, there's some cool stuff that you can see,
Mm-hmm.
demographics wise, who's watching your content and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then from that you can kind of tailor your content to, your age group.
Okay.
So like for me, it's probably young adults
Mhm.
or anyone interested in the Packers.
Yeah.
'Cause that's mostly what I talk about.
Yeah.
Wisconsin sports in general.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, speaking of that, I have to do. I should put out a schedule prediction.
Yeah.
I do want to wait until the final preseason game so I can kind of judge based off of how everyone does in the preseason to then kind of get my predictions together.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have a pretty good spot now, but I'll tease it. I think the Packers can win 9 or 10 games this year.
Okay.
You're not into sports as much as I am.
No, I
See,
used to
like-
be into football a little bit, and I want to get back into it simply to have something to talk about.
That's
But
fair. Just watch my videos throughout the year.
I should, yeah. What are your thoughts on? I know there was a pregame already.
There's been 2
there's been
preseason
2.
games.
How's Jordan Love looking?
Pretty solid,
Yeah.
actually. He's
Okay.
I don't think I'm not gonna say he's the next Aaron Rodgers
Okay.
because that would be pretty hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
But from the little bit that I've seen, I've worked during both the games,
Okay.
but I do watch the highlights every night when I get home from work. And excuse me, he's looked pretty good. He's not forcing anything like you would see a lot of young quarterbacks do.
Yeah.
So he's making good reads. The receivers are playing pretty well.
Okay.
I won't throw all the names out there at you because I don't expect you to know all of those.
No, I won't know any of them.
But yeah, Love has looked pretty good
Mhm.
with a decent defense. I can see him winning 10 games, maybe snagging like one of the last wild card spots
Okay.
for the playoffs.
Okay.
That's probably the best. Is like 10,
Mhm.
and then if things really go into the pooper, probably like 4 or 5 games they'll win.
Okay.
So I could see him going like 4-13 as the worst, and about 10-7 at the best.
Okay. Okay.
So
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know, but it looks pretty decent. I don't want to get my hopes up too much.
Yeah.
Because I've learned not to.
Yeah.
Being a Packer fan.
They really disappointed me last season.
Yeah.
I mean, they disappointed everyone.
Well, yeah. Ever since 2010 season when they won the Super Bowl.
Ever since that crap about when they were shoving the coach from the other team who was trying to check out his player who was hurt.
Oh yeah, when Quay Walker.
I was so mad.
Oh yeah.
I told my mom, I was like, I'm not a Packer fan anymore. That's how pissed I was. I was like, I'm gonna root for the Patriots.
No. I
or
was
the Eagles. Sorry, not.
Yeah, I was pretty mad at Quay Walker, the guy that pushed the trainer,
Mm-hmm.
especially because that was 2 weeks after Damar Hamlin from the Bills suffered a cardiac arrest on the field.
Yes.
That was like literally. It wasn't even 2. It was a week and a half after that happened.
How old was he again?
Damar Hamlin?
Yeah.
He was 25 at the time.
God.
He's young.
Yeah.
And I think it was a combination of just getting hit in the chest at like
Right.
just the right time.
Right.
Throws off the rhythm and cardiac was it arrhythmia.
Yeah.
I don't know what the medical term for cardiac arrest is, but cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
There's probably a scientific name that I would need 8 years of medical school to learn, but cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
Thankfully, and the Bills medical staff did an excellent job doing CPR, brought him back, and he's been cleared to play this year.
Okay.
I think they're obviously kind of easing him into it.
Yeah.
But he's clear to play, which is amazing because he basically died on the field.
Yeah.
So that is pretty cool. I'm not a Bills fan, but I'm definitely rooting for Damar Hamlin to have like a good year, and he'll probably win comeback player of the year because if you die on the field, if you can make it back and play the next year,
that's pretty baller.
I mean, you pretty much got the award.
Yeah.
So
that's like Jesus level football, you know.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Dying and coming back.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, go Packers. Bills fans are pretty awesome. They're pretty passionate.
Okay.
Just up there with Packer fans as well.
Okay. You know who's at the bottom of that? The Bears.
The Bears. Bear down. Yeah. One thing I have noticed living here in Wisconsin is if you encounter fans of other teams, especially in the NFC North, if they live here in Wisconsin, they're pretty tolerable.
Okay.
If you were to go to Minnesota, they're horrible. They will be super mean to you, super rude. Some might even threaten violence, especially in Chicago.
Yeah.
That's why I will never go to Chicago for a football game.
I don't get people that take it so seriously.
It's a game.
It's a game. Yes.
I am passionate and I want like the team I root for to do good. And I do get upset at times.
Yeah.
But never for more than a couple hours.
Right.
Because it's a game.
Right.
So, yeah, people get too wrapped up in that. I remember there was one story. I forget who or what told me. Are you good?
Yeah, no, I'm starting to get the shakes.
Shaking?
Yeah.
All right. I'll tell this story quick and we should probably go. We'll definitely do this again.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yes. But in fact, let's do this again after we work out, but a different topic.
I would love to.
Okay.
I would absolutely.
We can do this forever.
We can do a we can do a 1 and a 1.5.
Okay.
So this is number 1.
Okay.
And then a 1.5. But this last story I'll tell you before we have to go work out.
Yeah.
And again, I forget who. I think it was when I was in college. One of my like resource teachers. We had some class my freshman year. It was basically like a high school course. It was just kind of welcome to college.
Yeah.
Here's a couple of random assignments to do, and it was a super laid back class. But he told me a story of this time he went to Chicago for a football game, and Soldier Field is so there's like downtown Chicago. Soldier Field is just south of that. It's still in the downtown area. Like you can see the skyline from Soldier Field.
Okay.
So it's not like it's in the bad part of town.
Okay.
But he was rooting for the other team. And I don't know if he was a Viking fan or a Packer fan.
Okay.
But it was an NFC North thing. And the Bears had lost.
Of course. Like they always do.
Well, yeah. It was bear down. So, yeah, but the Bears lost the game, and he was wearing a jersey of the other team. I forget if it was Vikings or Packers.
Okay.
But as he was walking out of the stadium, he felt something press up against his back. Someone pulled a gun on him. He threw his hands up. He said, calm down. Let me go to a bar. We'll buy you a beer, and we'll figure it out or whatever. And so that's what he did. He went to the bar, bought the dude a beer, and then I don't know what happened at the bar.
Please tell me he took the beer, smashed it over his head, and then cut his jugular with the broken beer bottle.
Okay, you are violent right now. No, none of that happened.
I will. Before we started this video, I told him there's like this anger in my chest, and the pre-workout is making it worse.
I
So
know. We need to go work out.
also, can I just say I want to apologize ahead of time because your audience doesn't know me. I'm very loud. I apologize. When I get passionate about something, I yell and I don't realize I'm yelling.
Yeah.
It's my family. That's a whole nother story.
And I grew up in a more quiet environment.
Yeah.
So when I'm working tense and my boss gets stressed, he gets kind of spicy, and I just like, okay,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah.
But anyway, to wrap up that story, he bought the dude a beer and he lived or whatever.
Mhm.
But it just goes to show like what kind of people, I guess. And I don't want to generalize an entire population based off of the actions of one person.
No, you can generalize. Chicago's a shit city.
I wouldn't live there.
We should bomb Chicago. We should bomb Chicago.
If you want to go for that, sure. I would just stay away from it. That's my thing.
That works too.
Yeah. let's just stay away from Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, the suburbs are okay, but I don't like Chicago.
Yeah.
Then again, I've only been to like 3 suburbs, so.
I've been to Chicago once. I don't need to go back. I will go back, but I don't need to.
Yeah, I've been actually in Chicago twice. One in 2012, one in 2017, and then I took my girlfriend to a concert in a suburb last year.
Mm-hmm.
Almost a year ago exactly, actually.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I like avoiding Chicago.
That's probably a safe bet.
Yeah. Like right downtown, you're probably okay.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't go out past 10 o'clock. And it's just getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
But, yeah. We'll just stay away from Chicago. Minneapolis is okay during the day.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather not.
Yeah.
So, there's that.
Yeah. Before we wrap this up, I want to go back to the topic of term limits again.
Yes.
Because I had some thoughts I didn't get to share.
You and your politics. Please enlighten me.
So I know we talked about age and stuff. This is a big thing.
Yep.
But like even beyond age, just like even if they're not like too old, but like career politicians,
Yes.
the fact that they've been in there for 30 years or for so long, these people aren't connected to the middleman anymore, like the common American.
Yeah.
They've grown accumulated to DC and
Accustomed.
now they're
You said accumulated. I think you meant accustomed.
I meant accustomed.
It's
sorry.
okay.
They've grown accustomed to that, and they're voting on things that don't matter to the people anymore, but the people are dumb enough to where they
It's
only
okay, you
they
can
only
say
care about whether there's a D or an R next to their name.
I know, it's horrible.
And they don't care about the character of the person. And
Yeah,
it's
well,
on both sides.
Well, yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
Mhm.
And Nancy Pelosi said it herself.
Mhm.
Like, you could have a cup of water running
Yes.
running in her district of San Francisco,
Yeah.
and you put a D next to it, it'll beat out the most sane Republican you could
Yeah.
possibly put.
Yes. So this is a call to action
It
because
is.
Congress is not going to put term limits on themselves.
No.
And I think so far there have been, don't quote me on this because I'm probably wrong, but there's been like 23 states or 22 states or something that have called for a convention to be called
Convention. Yep.
to pass a constitutional amendment, but it needs
Needs 2/3.
Yeah, it needs 2/3 of the
So
states.
34.
Mm-hmm. So there's a
Right.
bunch of states that are working on it, but
Yeah.
and I hate to say it, but like everything, it's become a political issue.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be a political issue, but
doesn't need to
like
be.
you'll see Republican states are the ones that are passing it. Democrats aren't because now they're making it where it's like this is a conservative idea. It's like no, it's not.
It's
Everyone can
not.
agree.
It's a common sense thing.
Everyone can agree that having fresh minds, new people, and stuff. It's kind of like Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin when he said
Yeah.
he was going to run for 2 terms. I was like, okay, and he said he was going to run for a 3rd. We see that happen all the time because Republicans and Democrats, they grow so worried about losing these races that they convince these people, like, if you run again, people are going to vote for you just because they recognize your name.
Yeah.
And they're right.
Yeah.
But they do that up until their 7th term, and then
Yeah.
they've been in there already for 36 years.
Well, not only that, but they also profit heavily off
Yeah.
of. So Congress gets 180 some $1,000 a year,
Yeah.
which is already pretty good,
Yeah.
and the president gets just over 400,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
But you see people, and I'm going to use Nancy Pelosi as an example
She's a good example.
because I think she's a great example.
Mhm.
It is on both sides,
Mhm.
but I'm using her as an example.
Mhm.
She's been in Congress as a representative and Speaker of the House a couple times as well.
Yes, twice.
Twice? Okay.
Mhm.
So she gets $180,000 a year, and it's never, that's what it is now. That's
Yeah.
whatever it was before up
Yeah.
until now. But somehow she's worth $218 million.
That's just her salary. Think of all the lobbying money and her
Oh, yeah.
insider trading investments.
That's how
and-
she got her net worth.
Yeah,
Okay, so she's legitimately earned a couple million.
I don't think legitimate is a word
Okay.
they know in DC.
Fair. Okay, so she's earned from her career as a politician.
Yeah.
Her salary total
Right.
has been, well, she's been in there a while, so 5 million. That's a rough estimate.
Yeah.
But she's worth $220 million because of all the money she gets from lobbyists,
Mhm.
all of the money that her husband makes from day trading.
Mhm.
Did you know that?
Mhm.
That her husband, Nancy Pelosi's husband, is a day trader.
Mhm.
And so what happens is anytime they vote on a bill that's going to affect a certain stock,
Mhm.
Nancy's like, hey, Nancy Pelosi's husband's name, because I forget it,
Yeah.
invest in this stock or sell this stock.
Yeah. Isn't that a
2 hours
interesting
later,
coincidence?
Bill, yeah, weird.
Yeah.
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 Someone somewhere on the internet someone made pretty decent money
Mhm.
just by doing the research on what stocks Pelosi was investing in.
Mhm.
And he had like an 80% return.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
Mhm.
If you want to get rich, just look at what politicians
Are selling
are
what?
buying and selling.
Yeah. When and why and yeah.
Yeah. Literally just follow their track and you'll make pretty good money.
Yeah. So yeah, we need term limits big time.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I think to wrap it up, I'll say if you can't get anything done in a certain amount of time, so representatives get 2-year terms,
Mhm.
senators get 6-year terms.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say 6 House terms, 12 years,
Mm-hmm.
2 senator terms,
I
12
agree.
years.
Yes.
The president can have up to 8, well, actually up to 10, but
Yeah.
if 4-year terms,
Yeah.
up to 2 elected terms.
Yeah.
So yeah, 12 years.
Yeah.
6 for the House, 2 for the senators. If you can't get anything done, anything noticeable done in 12 years,
Mhm.
you're a failed politician.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Who I think of? Representative Ron Kind. He represented a district in Wisconsin for the 3rd district for.
1998, he was voted in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he went in with good intentions.
But he didn't do anything while he was in Congress. He was
Exactly.
literally just the
placeholder.
Yeah, he votes as the party wants him to vote. And that's another thing I hate is that Republicans and Democrats, so many of them they just fall in line.
It's party over country.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't always like that.
No.
It used to be country over party.
Yes.
And I'm not old enough to remember, but I can think back of a time
Mm-hmm.
when the vast majority of those in DC voted on what was best for the country
Mm-hmm.
instead of what was best for the interest of their own party.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're too far past that. I don't want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, I'd like to get back to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I may end up. I've considered running for like lower level government stuff,
Mhm.
and maybe we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But we need, as citizens, we need to vote in people who are willing to work with the other side and vote on what's best for the country instead of what's just best for the Democrat Party or the Republican Party.
That's why I have great respect for Joe Manchin, Democrat from West Virginia.
Who works with both sides.
He's a Democrat, but he's openly said he's considering becoming an independent.
Mhm.
But even though he's a Democrat, he represents a very conservative state, West Virginia.
Yeah.
So he holds both ideals, and he's very bipartisan.
Yeah, you
and,
just weigh the options. What's better.
And the president and his own party does not like him because he will stop them most of the time and be like, no, I don't agree with this and stuff. And I respect that. I respect someone who stands by their ideals no matter who it makes their enemies, even if they're friends. Because at the end of the day, you have to say, this is what's right, this is what's wrong, and I'm not going to apologize for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have to work out. It's been
We
way
do.
overdue, and my feet
Yeah.
are sweating.
All right, let's
So-
go work out. All right. I don't think there's no. Was it outro? Whatever. Just.
It's been a
It's
pleasure.
been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure,
Been a
sir.
pleasure. Business
Okay.
doing pleasure with you.
Mm.
Right?
Always. Always.
Pleasure. No.
The pleasure is always mine.
Pleasure doing whatever. Whatever the saying is. Let's go
It's
work
been
out.
pleasure doing my business to you, with you. Pleasured is MI for business. Bye.
That's a lot of words.
All right.
Let's go work out.